Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to have a little bit of fun where you get to test your bladesmithing and knife making knowledge against that of the average bear. I don't know what the average bear knows about knife making or bladesmithing, but if you get 10 out of 10 questions in this quiz, congratulations, you're on your way to becoming a competent bladesmith or knife maker. And if you get less than that, then clearly you need to watch more videos on the channel here and round out your bladesmithing knowledge. But with that, let's jump right in to question number 1. The first one is about steel, and that is, steel is A, a combination of elements, or B, a natural element from the earth, or C, steel is difficult to recycle. The correct answer is steel is a combination of elements. In its most simple form, steel is iron and carbon, both of which are elements on the periodic table. And most modern steels have a variety of different elements alloyed into the steel to bring out or enhance particular characteristics or properties for a specific purpose. And no, steel is not difficult to recycle. It's actually very easy to recycle, contrary to plastic, but we don't need to get into that right now. Question number 2. The apparatus used for heating steel to work it on the anvil is properly known as A, an oven, B, a forge, or C, a furnace. I'm sure you got this one. The correct answer, of course, is B, a forge. An oven is something you use to bake cookies or maybe even temper your blades. A furnace is something you use to melt steel, and so a forge is a specific tool for a specific purpose of heating steel up to a certain range where it can be forged, as the name would suggest. Question number 3. What general temperature is most steel forged at? A, 1500 degrees Fahrenheit, B, 1900 degrees Fahrenheit, or C, 3000 degrees Fahrenheit? Correct answer, of course, is B, around 1900 degrees Fahrenheit. 1500 degrees Fahrenheit is going to be too cool for most forging operations or heavy forging that you're going to do on any project, and 3000 degrees Fahrenheit is closer towards melting temperature. Question number 4. Tempering makes steel harder, or B, sharper, or C, tougher. And the correct answer, of course, is that tempering makes steel tougher. That is C. Tempering is a step within a series of steps known as heat treating, and tempering removes some of the hardness that we put into the steel with the hardening process earlier in the steps. And that's important because if we leave the steel at full hardness, it's going to be too brittle and therefore make a blade that could snap in half, but also even just at the very edge of that steel, it's going to be so brittle that it can be prone to micro fracturing and chipping, which is going to really damage edge retention. And so for various reasons, having a blade or a piece of steel for a blade that's too hard is not beneficial, and we use tempering to back that off a little bit and enhance the properties of the steel for its given purpose. All right, moving on to question number 5. We're almost halfway through this. How are you doing so far? Question number 5 is, forge scale is A, oxygen combined with iron, or B, carbon cooking out of the steel, or C, the steel getting burned? The correct answer, of course, is A, oxygen combines with iron at those high heats and creates iron oxide, which we see as forge scale and eventually flakes off, and the process continues as long as that steel is heated up to that temperature where that iron can combine with the oxygen and create that forge scale. Now, carbon also does get cooked out of the surface of the steel during forging, but it doesn't create iron oxide. It just combines with oxygen and creates carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide, I believe. Question number 6. What is the most important for knife performance? A, edge geometry, B, the type of steel the knife is made from, or C, the hardness of the steel the knife is made from? Well, the correct answer is A. Assuming that you've got a good steel, it's been heat treated properly, everything else is the way it should be, the single most important thing you can do for a blade is put the correct edge geometry on it for its given purpose. And so this is also a way that you can improve an existing knife depending on what it's for. Maybe the edge needs to be thinned out or maybe it needs to be ground at a little bit more obtuse angle to hold up better for its given use. It all depends on what the knife is for and how it's being used. Question number 7. The best weight of hammer for forging a knife is A, 5 pounds, B, whatever weight is comfortable and accurate, or C, 2 pounds. Well, the correct answer is going to be B, whatever is comfortable and accurate for you to use while forging that knife. This is not going to be a specific weight. It's very specific to the particular smith or the particular person that's using it, and their skill and experience is going to determine that. And therefore, the weight of the actual hammer might change over time depending on what they choose to use based on their skill and experience as they grow in their craft. Accuracy and comfort when using your hammer during forging is the most important thing, and then the weight is secondary to that. Question number 8. Real blacksmiths and bladesmiths use A, the latest technology available to efficiently affect the desired outcome of their project, or B, hand hammers and tongs, or C, traditional tools and equipment. Well, the correct answer is A, because if you stop and think about it, every blacksmith or bladesmith throughout history, so far as we know, was using the current technology to ply their trade and build whatever they were building. Now, I'm sure there are some people that couldn't afford or access the current technology, but in general, in any industry, people are using the current and most up-to-date technology to affect their trade. And so if you're building something under the auspices of traditional type methods and things like that, then yes, you're going to use traditional tools and eschew something of a more modern variety. But if your goal is to build something that is quality, that performs well, and within a time frame that allows you to actually pay the bills doing so, you're probably going to use a little bit of technology to aid you with that whole process, and there's nothing wrong with that. All right, question number 9. The best steel to use for a knife blade is A, leaf springs from a 1951 Packard, B, a steel you understand and know how to use, or C, the latest super steel. Correct answer on that, of course, is B. It doesn't matter what the steel is made of. If you don't understand what it is and don't understand how to work it properly and heat treat it properly, chances are you're not going to get the best results or even very good results at all. I personally prefer to use a known steel that I've purchased and something obviously that I have the understanding, the ability, and the equipment, if necessary, to properly work, properly heat treat, and properly put to use. And that's going to give you the best results, whether that's 1080 steel or Magna Cut. Just depends on what you're building, what you have available to you, your knowledge, and your equipment. All right, this is the last question before the bonus question. So how are you doing so far? Question number 10. The best knife designs come from A, professionals with years of experience, or B, ancestral and generational designs, or C, people who use knives all the time. And then D, oh, we have a D, both B and C? Well, in my opinion, the correct answer to that is both B and C. People that use knives on a regular basis generally have a pretty good understanding of what makes a good knife, at least for that specific purpose. And on a larger scale, a generational, multi-century tradition of a particular style of blade in a particular area for particular purposes, we can be pretty confident that that design for that purpose works very well. Otherwise, they would have probably come up with something else. And so I prefer to look at not only my personal experience in using knives, but also a rich heritage of various cultures and traditions, and look at what they used in their particular environment for the tasks that they had to do on a daily basis. And I think those kinds of things really help bring out a functional and beautiful knife design for whatever it is that you're trying to build. All right, guys, how'd you do? Did you get 10 out of 10? If you did, let me know in the comments. If you only got 5 out of 10, let me know in the comments too. But we're gonna do our bonus question right here. Question number 11, and that is, to start making knives or bladesmithing, you need A, the will and desire, B, a lot of money, C, a big shop, or D, a blacksmith friend. Well, the correct answer for that, of course, is A, the will and desire. Now, it's nice to have a big shop. It's nice to have a lot of money if you're starting up a hobby, and it's also nice to have a blacksmith friend. But the truth is that if you really want to, you can start with very little and actually make a decent thing, a decent product, a decent blade. I started making knives with literally just a hacksaw and a file and some random piece of steel. Now, most of us could probably do a little bit better than that, and you can get well on your way towards building something that you can be proud of. When it comes to the bladesmithing part of it specifically, there are very inexpensive ways to start building a forge and hammering and shaping hot pieces of steel and just have a lot of fun doing it. So don't let money or anything like that get in the way. Research it on YouTube. There's all kinds of resources these days to get started for very inexpensive in knife making or bladesmithing, as it were. And keep watching the channel here. I appreciate you guys coming along on this fun little quiz here. Hopefully it was informative and entertaining, and we'll see you on the next video.